Um, there is not much editing of this video. I was going to upload a video or two about the moving process, settling down into kind of like a new season. I was gonna do all this fun stuff. And those videos, depending on what happens in the future, will still come out. They will still be videos that live on my channel. And at the same time, the past couple of weeks, really month, has just been insane and crazy and all of those things. And I think it's all birthed out of the struggle that a lot of young people, specifically creative young people, have. And this translates to friendships and relationships. It transitions into work life. It transitions into personal life, all those things. And the struggle that I'm talking about is being a young person with big vision. In my generation, I am Gen Z. I was born in 1999. I think Gen Z starts in 1997, if I'm not mistaken. At least by most sources, they say it starts about 1997. But I'm Gen Z. And generations before Gen Z, like the boomers, Gen X, that kind of area, what was most important to them was loyalty. You're going to be loyal to your family, no matter what. You're going to be loyal to your church, no matter what. You're going to be loyal to your job. Stay there for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You know, move up a little bit if you want to and then retire. Loyalty is one of the biggest things that is treasured in those generations. It was seen as somewhat a mark of shame for you to say, I want to do something else. I want to value something else. I want to change my mind, basically. You were the way that you were for all time, forever, now, and evermore. Amen. Like, you were the same person regardless. What I'm seeing, however, in millennial, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha generations is that we don't want to be stuck to one thing. We want to be able to excel and to be multi-hyphenate. We want to be a slasher, as Simon T. Bailey calls it. Being an example for doing this well, slash this, slash that, slash this, you know? We want to be able to be known for a bunch of things. And we also know that there is value, speaking in a financial sense, of having a diverse portfolio, of having multiple streams of income and different ways of making influence and change in whatever capacity that you can. And it's really hard when you are a young person that thinks outside the box. Again, I want to say that the reason I'm talking about this is because that there is an opposite. Everything I try to think about, I always think about the opposite of, if that makes sense. I'm going to try and make this make sense because it's a struggle to try and like really explain it. But the reason that I think people who think outside the box have a problem is because standard and culture and society would tell you to think inside the box. They would tell you that you have to be in a box. So, young people my age live in different boxes. Okay? They live in different boxes. You have the young person who has been set their entire life. The parents have been able to provide things for them, all that they need. They've been to amazing schools, elementary, middle, high school, great college. They're doing what they want to do. Either they're set up financially with like inheritance and, things of that nature, or maybe they're living in their hometown and they got it set. They got it set. They've known from the beginning what they wanted to do, and now they're doing it. Then you have the young person that kind of rebels. They may or may not have had everything that they wanted growing up, and people are telling them to do this, and they're just not having it. And so they do the exact opposite. They go out into the world, they go crazy, they go wild. They completely just do a full 180 from where they were before. Sometimes it becomes a testimony that they find their way back and they kind of fall in love with what they wanted to do in the first place. Sometimes it's not a testimony and they just really go, out on the deep end. But then I believe you have a third kind of young person who they grow up in a good situation, and it's early on that people can just tell this kid is not like other kids. This kid has potential to do really, really good things. And it's not just, this is what I want to do when I grow up. It's, this is who I want to reach when I grow up. This is the impact I want to make when I grow up. This is the legacy I want to live and leave when I grow up. And I'd always done stuff in a untraditional way. I'll say that. I'm a middle class guy. Grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I went to public school for the very beginning of elementary school, but most of all of middle and high school, I was in private school. But I was in a neighborhood that had a lot of diversity. I went to an all-black church. So even growing up, I had kind of a mix of my own culture as well as an outside culture. And so already I found this really specific knack that I found really early on for being able to be a social chameleon. For being able to navigate in different spaces and to bring the fullness of myself in that area, but still kind of showing different flavors of myself, if you will. Not saying that I was ever fake, but there were different sides of me that came out more so depending on which space that I was in. And already I knew that there were some things that were bigger than race. There were some things that were bigger than socioeconomic status. There are some things that were bigger than culture or ethnicity or background. And even going to Belmont University in Nashville, I found that a lot of the issues and problems that we have in our world is because we have chosen to create gaps between each other. That we have taken away the idea of humanity and we have replaced it with familiarity. We have replaced it with identity. We've replaced it with notoriety, even, if you will. And really the best way for us to solve those problems is to tell a story as well. To listen to people when they speak. And not just listen to people, but believe people when they speak. To create lasting legacy. A brand for yourself that goes further than just, this is why I identify with or as. This is who I am as a person. and this is how I can relate to you, right? That's what makes me love the ideas of marketing and media and, digital creation and content so much, is because that's how people get to know other people. That's how people get to really dig deep into the stories of others. And I'm saying all this because I learned these lessons at a pretty young age. I didn't have the language to articulate what the lesson was, but I learned this really, really quickly as a kid. I mean, and again, I had been non traditional in a lot of different ways. Being able to be a representative for the black community in majority white spaces, but, being able to relay information and insight and teaching and knowledge and all these things back to my majority black communities, or any community for that matter. There was a lot of untraditionalism from me in that sense. Doing full scale productions as a teenager in my home state, in my hometown, that was untraditional for somebody to see that. Spending extra time in undergrad and not changing my major but changing my passions, that was untraditional for me. Someone who had never even heard of higher education before going into college and then taking a higher education fellowship right out of undergrad, that was untraditional, Birth out of all this untraditionalistic type of living that I've been able to do over the past 24 years has birthed vision. And it's vision that's bigger than the friend of mine who only wants to go out and party every weekend, who, hangs out with their friends all the time, has a job that pays the bills and is fine, and the end goal is to, get to a family and then stop. My vision is bigger than that. My vision is bigger than the person that I told you about earlier, the person that always has it set up for them to succeed in life. They've gotten everything that they've ever wanted. They got the perfect relationship, the perfect family, the perfect job, the perfect opportunity. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. I wish to be a storyteller. I am a storyteller. I'm an optimist. I'm a advocate for people living their lives truthfully and holistically. Now, I know that everybody watching this is not a Christian, but I believe that it was birthed out of a promise that I received from God that I would be living in the call of Abraham. Abraham was a figure within the Bible, the Christian Bible, in the book of Genesis. God tells Abraham, then Abram, that he's going to have to go out, go away from his land, everything that he's ever known, his family, his land, his background, all that stuff. He's going to have to leave all of that and go out into a place that God will show him. Listen to that sentence again. God doesn't tell him that he's going to go to insert place here. God says to Abram that you're about to leave right now and go to a place that I am about to show you. Which means that the act of leaving where you've always been and the place where you have been promised, the gap in between that, there will include a gap of uncertainty. There will include a time where you see the first step, but you don't know the entire way. You see the first stair, but you don't see the entire staircase. Now, I believe that for me, and again, part of this scripture in the Bible, it talks about how, yes, Abraham is going to go to this place. God's going to make his name great. He's going to establish a whole bunch of generations. But the part that gets me is that he will be a blessing to others. There's a specific scripture that says, and I will cause you to be a blessing to others. Because you chose to leave, you chose to go to this foreign place, you chose to trust me with said journey, and along the way, you will be able to craft a story that is so unique and so meticulous and so special that you will also be a blessing to other people on your way. The issue with being a young person, a creative young person with big vision, I mean vision that means I want to start multiple businesses. Vision that says I want to be a New York Times bestseller before the age of 30. This is big vision that says I want to have a TV show. This is vision that says I want to do all of the things. I don't just want to stay in my box. I want to do all of the things. I want to take the untraditional route. The process of doing this and being a young person with vision means, number one, people will not understand you. People who are even close to you will say to you, you're doing too much. Why you want to do all that? You just need to stick to this. Because again, society has told us that you only need to go to this level. You only need to have this standard. You only need to go this far. And so when you dare to step out, when you dare to be different, when you dare to do more, people ain't gonna know how to handle that. They just aren't going to know how to handle it because, frankly, you're probably going to be the first one in your friend group, in your family, in your generation, in your neighborhood to do said thing, right? So how could anybody else know what that would entail? Which means that it gets lonely. Not saying that you don't have any friends, not saying that you don't have a community behind you, but simply to the fact that it is hard to... It's not hard. It's harder to find fellow people, fellow dreamers, fellow innovators, fellow entrepreneurs, fellow big thinkers that think on the level that you do. Right now I'm in the season, because I'm right out of undergrad, like a year or so removed. I'm in the season right now in my mid-20s where I'm trying to figure out where do I want my gifts, my talents, my knacks, my passions, where do I want that to live? I know what it is. I know what I'm good at. I just don't know how to actually fit it into a job, into a space, into a season. I don't know how to do that because it's that expansive. And that's not me trying to toot my own horn. That's just saying the things that I want to do, the moves that I want to make, the people I want to connect with are on such a different level that it's very, very hard to figure out where your next step should be because the big picture is so big. Does that make sense? And so right now I'm trying to live that out. Part of the reason why I even created the How to Adult series, number one, it's me kind of quote unquote divorcing myself from strictly doing college content because for the last 5 years, all I did was stuff with Belmont. So, because over the last 5 or so years, all you've known from me is college content. And I still want that to live. I still want that to be part of my channel. I still want that to be a whole part. But this is me kind of taking those first steps into actually creating legacy and a life for myself that is outside of education, right? There's just so much that I want to do. And there's so much change that I want to make. And it's a lot. It's a lot to try and even try to articulate that with people who are used to doing life a certain way. And that's not bad. You're just used to doing life a certain way. And I wanted to start this series, yes, because I'm experiencing all these lovely adulting things for the first time, but also I wanted to show that getting older and figuring out what you want to do with your life does not have to look a certain way. In fact, it tends to turn out better when it doesn't look a certain way. When it's not what you expected, when it's not what you've planned. The people I choose to associate myself with are also those people who just have really big dreams and ambitions that go way further and farther than where they are right now. And the reality is, having big vision means that there will be a lot of uncertainty. It won't make sense until it actually happens. And that's hard for people like me who want to know everything beforehand, who want all the details and things of that nature. It's just not going to make sense until it actually comes to pass. Again, I was going to upload a whole different video today, but I don't know. I'm just in this very weird, grateful, but very weird space where I know that I love to communicate. I love to talk. I love to pour into other people. I love to be an advocate for people. I love social media. I love everything digital. I love creating content and telling stories and building brands. I love design. I love that area. I love that industry. I love, again, in the advocacy realm, the themes of justice and equity. There's so many different parts of me that I love, and I'm just trying to figure out how to place that together. And if you are a young person right now watching this who is struggling about what their next step is, what their next connection needs to be, what their next job needs to be, where they need to move to, just know that I'm here with you. The point of this series is that I don't have it all together. I don't have all the answers. I wish I did. I really wish I did. I just don't. And that is okay. And one thing that I'm learning right now more than ever, and people who know what's going on right now will know the context of what I'm about to say. When your mind is full of so many different ideas, so many different things to do, so many different moves to make, sometimes it's just best to take one. One thought, one idea, one task, one connection, one job, one relationship, just one thing at a time. Focus on that, get that together, and then go to the next. Because the trap is that your mind is always so busy, you're always so busy, your calendar's always so full, you never reach out to anybody, you never get anything done, you never accomplish what you wanted to, you never complete your New Year's resolutions. Your mind is so busy that you can't focus, that you can't accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, that you see other people accomplishing things and doing great things, and here you are with all this idea, all this potential, all this energy, and you just don't know where to put it. My encouragement to you, take one thing, one project at a time, do that to its completion, and then go to the next. I am writing a lot. I would like to do things with said writing. That is my thing that I'm working on right now. Also investing into people, into different groups and communities and things of that nature. But I'm writing some stuff right now. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. I'm even terrified that I even said that out loud, but... And I'm a creative. I want to do creative things. I have been talking about a podcast for, the last 2 years. I want that to happen at some point too. Don't be intimidated by the vision that you have. Don't be intimidated by the change that you want to make in the world. And most of all, don't be intimidated by others who are intimidated by the vision that you have. We need more visionaries. We need more ambitious young people. My people. We need more of that in our world more than ever. And I will still be releasing videos about things that I am, interacting with in this adult world. But I just wanted to get this out. I'm going to trust the one who gave me the vision. And I'm going to trust that the vision will be carried out in its designated, appointed time. It will probably not happen the way that I thought it would. It usually tends to work out better when that happens. This video might not do well at all. But you know what? I don't care. Because I know that out there, I know that on the other side of the screen, you are a creative person. You are a person who wants to do amazing things in this world. And there are some projects, there's some books, there's some podcasts, there's some businesses, there are some things that are on the inside of you that you have only dreamed about, that you have been terrified to start. One thing at a time. Subscribe and like if you want some more videos. But until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.